A narcissist can survive criticism. A narcissist can survive rejection. A narcissist can even survive being exposed in front of other people. Yet there is one type of woman who creates a level of discomfort that strikes much deeper than any public humiliation ever could. It is not because she is aggressive. It is not because she seeks revenge. It is not because she spends her life trying to prove a point. In fact, the very reason she becomes so difficult for a narcissist to handle is the reason most people completely overlook. While others fight for attention, she protects her character. While others get pulled into endless emotional battles, she remains grounded in her values. While others become trapped in manipulation, guilt, and confusion, she quietly stands on principles that cannot be easily shaken. And that is where the narcissist begins to lose control. Many people believe the greatest way to defeat a narcissist is through confrontation. They think exposing every lie, arguing every point, or getting even for every wound will finally bring justice. But countless people have discovered that these battles often leave them emotionally exhausted, while the narcissist continues searching for new sources of attention and validation. The truth is much more powerful and far more unsettling for the narcissist. Their greatest weakness is not found in a loud argument. It is found in the presence of someone who cannot be manipulated, someone who refuses to abandon their values, someone who does not trade self-respect for approval. And that person is often a virtuous woman. What makes this so fascinating is that narcissists spend years perfecting the art of influence. They study reactions, they test boundaries, they learn how to trigger guilt, fear, insecurity, and self-doubt. They often know exactly what to say and when to say it. To the outside world, they can appear charming, confident, generous, and even caring. But beneath that carefully crafted image lies a constant need for control. The need to feel important, the need to feel superior, the need to receive admiration from others. Most people never see the full picture until they become emotionally entangled in the relationship. By then, confusion has already replaced clarity, doubt has already replaced confidence, and the narcissist has already gained influence. Yet there is a type of woman who disrupts this entire pattern. Not through force, not through manipulation, not through revenge. She does it through something much rarer. She possesses inner stability. She values truth more than comfort. She refuses to sacrifice her principles for temporary approval. She recognizes that peace is more valuable than winning pointless battles. Because of this, many of the narcissist's most effective tactics begin to fail. The guilt trips lose their power, the emotional games lose their effectiveness, the attempts to create dependency begin to crumble. For a narcissist, this creates a problem they do not know how to solve. What many people never realize is that narcissists are often attracted to strong individuals at first. They admire confidence, they admire kindness, they admire integrity, but only in the beginning. Once they realize those qualities cannot be controlled, admiration slowly turns into frustration. Frustration turns into resentment, and resentment can eventually turn into open hostility. This pattern has repeated itself in countless relationships, friendships, workplaces, and even families. The same cycle appears again and again. The narcissist seeks influence. The virtuous woman refuses to surrender her values. The struggle for control begins. And that is when the narcissist discovers a truth they never wanted to face. Throughout this video, you will uncover why virtue is far more powerful than most people understand. You will learn why strong character creates a natural defense against manipulation. You will discover why narcissists fear emotional independence more than criticism. You will see how self-respect silently dismantles many of their most effective strategies. You will understand why boundaries become one of the greatest threats to someone who craves control. Most importantly, you will learn the surprising reason a virtuous woman often changes the entire power dynamic without ever raising her voice. As we move forward, we are going to explore hidden psychological patterns that many people miss. We will uncover why narcissists become increasingly frustrated around women they cannot emotionally dominate. We will reveal the traits that make manipulation almost impossible. We will examine why remaining true to your values can be more powerful than seeking revenge. And near the end of this video, we will discuss one of the most overlooked truths about narcissism, a truth that explains why some women walk away stronger while others remain trapped in cycles of confusion for years. This conversation is not just about narcissists. It is also about personal strength. It is about understanding the quiet power of integrity. It is about recognizing that true confidence does not come from controlling others. It comes from controlling yourself. The lessons in this video can transform the way you view relationships, boundaries, self-worth, and emotional resilience. And the final insight may completely change the way you think about power itself. So stay with us until the very end, because each piece of this puzzle reveals a deeper truth about human behavior, emotional strength, and the hidden reason a virtuous woman becomes the one person a narcissist can never truly conquer. If you are ready to uncover these powerful insights and protect yourself from manipulation while building unshakable self-respect, then you are in the right place. Welcome to the channel. Be sure to subscribe, turn on notifications, and join us as we explore the psychology, wisdom, and life-changing truths that can help you become stronger, wiser, and impossible to control. There is a reason the word virtuous makes some people think of softness, passivity, or weakness. Modern culture often celebrates the loudest voice in the room. It celebrates domination, attention, and influence. Because of this, many people completely misunderstand what virtue actually is. Virtue is not weakness. Virtue is strength under control. It is the ability to remain true to your values when abandoning them would be easier. It is the courage to stand alone when everyone else is chasing approval. It is the discipline to remain honest when lies would bring immediate rewards. A virtuous woman is not powerful because she seeks power over people. She is powerful because she has power over herself. And that distinction changes everything. A narcissist can deal with anger. A narcissist can deal with emotional reactions. A narcissist can even deal with confrontation. What becomes difficult is dealing with someone whose character cannot be purchased, manipulated, or intimidated. The narcissist studies people carefully. They look for emotional openings, they look for insecurities, they look for fears, they look for unhealed wounds. Once they find them, they begin building influence. Sometimes it happens through charm, sometimes through attention, sometimes through affection, sometimes through guilt. The method changes, but the objective remains the same: control. Yet the virtuous woman creates a challenge from the very beginning because her decisions are not driven by temporary emotions, they are guided by principles. She asks a simple question before making choices: is this right? That question becomes a wall many narcissists cannot get through. One of the strongest qualities of a virtuous woman is honesty. Not just honesty with others, but honesty with herself. She refuses to ignore reality simply because the truth feels uncomfortable. A narcissist often survives by creating confusion. They twist facts, they rewrite events, they shift blame. They create narratives that make them appear innocent while others appear responsible. Many people become trapped because they slowly begin questioning their own judgment. They start wondering if they are overreacting. They start wondering if they misunderstood what happened. They start wondering if the problem is actually them. This is where self-honesty becomes a powerful weapon. The virtuous woman pays attention to reality. She notices actions, she notices patterns. She notices repeated behaviors. She understands that promises mean very little without consistent action behind them. While others become distracted by words, she studies behavior. While others focus on appearances, she focuses on truth. This ability makes manipulation far more difficult. Self-respect creates another layer of protection. Many people think self-respect is confidence. It is deeper than confidence. Confidence can rise and fall. Self-respect is a decision. It is the decision to treat yourself as someone valuable. The virtuous woman understands this. She knows her value does not come from another person's opinion. It does not come from attention. It does not come from praise. It does not come from validation. Because of this, she becomes less vulnerable to emotional traps. A narcissist often gains influence by making people dependent on approval. They create emotional highs and lows. One moment there is praise. The next moment there is criticism. One moment there is affection. The next moment there is distance. This cycle creates confusion and emotional dependency. The victim begins chasing the positive moments. They begin working harder and harder to earn approval. But a woman with self-respect does not play this game for long. She quickly recognizes that genuine relationships do not require constant emotional auditions. Respect is not something that should be endlessly earned through suffering. Another defining quality is her refusal to compromise important principles. Every person has values. The difference is that many abandon those values under pressure. A virtuous woman does not. She understands that character is revealed most clearly during difficult moments. Anyone can be kind when life is easy. Anyone can be honest when honesty costs nothing. Anyone can remain calm when there is no challenge. The true test comes when pressure arrives. Narcissists often apply pressure deliberately. They create conflict. They create confusion. They create emotional storms designed to force reactions. Their goal is often simple. They want people to abandon logic and act emotionally. They want people to betray their own standards. They want people to become unstable. But when a virtuous woman refuses to surrender her principles, the narcissist encounters resistance they did not expect. Her consistency becomes frustrating. Her stability becomes irritating. Her integrity becomes impossible to manipulate. This naturally leads to another reason narcissists struggle around virtuous women. She cannot be easily manipulated. Manipulation depends on emotional control. If someone can control your emotions, they can often influence your decisions. Fear can be manipulated. Guilt can be manipulated. Insecurity can be manipulated. Loneliness can be manipulated. The narcissist understands this better than most people. That is why many of their tactics are designed to trigger emotional reactions. They create uncertainty. They create jealousy. They create self-doubt. They create anxiety. They create emotional dependency. But the virtuous woman approaches situations differently. She trusts facts more than emotional pressure. When words and actions do not match, she notices. When stories constantly change, she notices. When promises repeatedly go unfulfilled, she notices. She does not ignore evidence simply because she wants to believe the best in someone. This ability to observe patterns quietly changes the entire dynamic. Narcissists often rely on inconsistency. One day they present themselves as caring. The next day they become cold. One day they accept responsibility. The next day they blame everyone else. One day they praise someone. The next day they attack that same person. Many people become trapped trying to understand these contradictions. They spend years searching for explanations. They hope the good version will return permanently. The virtuous woman recognizes that repeated behavior reveals true character. She stops focusing on isolated moments. She focuses on long-term patterns. This creates clarity, and clarity is dangerous to manipulation. Another reason manipulation becomes ineffective is because she does not constantly seek validation. Many people unknowingly hand over power when they make approval their primary goal. Once approval becomes necessary, control becomes possible. The narcissist understands this. They know praise can be used as a reward. They know criticism can be used as punishment. They know attention can be used as leverage. This is why they often create emotional dependency. But the virtuous woman does not build her identity around external validation. She appreciates kindness, but she does not require it to feel worthy. She appreciates recognition, but she does not depend on it to feel valuable. This independence removes one of the narcissist's strongest tools. Perhaps one of the most frustrating discoveries for a narcissist is realizing that guilt no longer works. Guilt is often used as an invisible chain. It keeps people trapped in unhealthy situations. It keeps people accepting mistreatment. It keeps people sacrificing their own needs. Narcissists frequently use guilt to maintain control. They present themselves as victims. They exaggerate sacrifices. They shift responsibility. They create situations where others feel obligated to stay, help, forgive, or comply. But a virtuous woman understands the difference between compassion and manipulation. She can care about someone without surrendering her boundaries. She can empathize without becoming controlled. She can listen without accepting false responsibility. This balance becomes incredibly difficult for a narcissist to navigate because guilt loses much of its power. Love bombing often fails for the same reason. At first, intense attention can feel exciting. Constant compliments can feel flattering. Excessive affection can feel meaningful. But the virtuous woman does not confuse intensity with sincerity. She understands that genuine trust develops over time. She understands that healthy relationships are built gradually. She understands that consistency matters more than emotional fireworks. Because of this, she is less likely to become overwhelmed by exaggerated displays of affection. She remains observant. She remains patient. She remains grounded in reality. And that patience often reveals truths that would otherwise remain hidden. As her independence grows stronger, another challenge emerges for the narcissist. She begins setting boundaries. Boundaries are among the most misunderstood concepts in relationships. Many people view them as walls. In reality, healthy boundaries are filters. They determine what behavior is acceptable and what behavior is not. Narcissists often dislike boundaries because boundaries limit access. Boundaries limit control. Boundaries create consequences. A person without boundaries becomes easy to manipulate. A person with strong boundaries becomes difficult to control. The virtuous woman understands that protecting her peace is not selfish, it is necessary. She understands that saying no does not make her cruel, it makes her responsible. She understands that accepting disrespect repeatedly teaches others how to treat her. And this is where the relationship dynamic begins shifting in a dramatic way. In the end, the narcissist's greatest fear is not being exposed in front of the world. It is becoming powerless in the presence of someone they cannot influence. It is standing face to face with a woman who knows her worth, trusts her instincts, and refuses to trade her dignity for acceptance. A virtuous woman does not defeat a narcissist by fighting endless battles. She defeats the game itself. She refuses to become trapped in manipulation. She refuses to abandon her values. She refuses to lose herself in the chaos. And that is what makes her so powerful. The narcissist depends on attention. The virtuous woman depends on character. The narcissist depends on control. The virtuous woman depends on truth. The narcissist searches for validation from the outside world. The virtuous woman finds strength within herself. That is why one remains constantly hungry, while the other remains free. No matter how charming the mask may be, no matter how convincing the words may sound, integrity will always see what deception tries to hide. Self-respect will always be stronger than manipulation. And a woman who truly knows who she is becomes impossible to conquer because her value is no longer determined by anyone else's opinion. If there is one lesson to remember from this video, let it be this. Your greatest power is not the ability to control others. Your greatest power is the ability to remain true to yourself when the world tries to pull you in another direction. That kind of strength cannot be bought. It cannot be faked. And it cannot be taken away. If this message spoke to you, take a moment right now to like this video. It helps this message reach more people who may be silently struggling with manipulation, toxic relationships, and emotional control. Share this video with a friend, a sister, a mother, or anyone who needs this reminder today. And if you enjoy deep insights into psychology, human behavior, self-respect, and personal growth, make sure you subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications so you never miss our future videos. Thank you for watching until the end. Remember, the strongest victory is not making someone else lose. The strongest victory is refusing to lose yourself. Stay wise, stay strong, stay true to who you are, and we'll see you in the next video.